Hi everyone, happy Saturday. I know it has been a little bit, but today I wanted to show you guys something that I figured out this month with the gel pens that I purchased, at least some of them. I didn't get quite around to doing all the like little mini reviews I wanted to do, but I have been coloring a lot off screen. And I figured out something really interesting. I might be like the last person to know this, but um, anyway, so one of the big types of gel pens that's out there is the kind of iridescent metallic gel pen, and basically when you move it in light, it usually looks like two different colors, right? I did do a color and chat at maybe the start of the month with the Dyvicl metallic gel pens, and we did a swatch of those, which you can see right there, and I listed the price next to each of these. So I did color with those, and they're 1 millimeter size. The biggest thing I saw with them is the lighter colors seemed a little thinner, and you can't tell how much ink is in these because the barrel's opaque. So that really bothers me. I like to know how much ink is in the gel pens that I purchase. So I'm not going to, excuse me, I'm not going to know until I color so many pages with them. Then we have the Pentel Dual Metallic Hybrid, which is the pens that you see the Dyvicl match up to in a lot of comparisons. So I did get those. Obviously there's a difference in prices. The dual metallic actually only comes with 8 pens as well. That's what these look like right here. I did color a picture with those, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. The biggest thing I noticed with these have a great flow. Like these are, I'm trying to think, like the mousse, chocolate mousse of the pen world. Like they are just lush, and they're not scratchy. They put out a lot of ink, which is great, except for the fact that, of course, the more ink it puts out, the more you're going to burn in your pens. So a couple things I noticed with these, by the way. One of the things that really irritated me, let me find it. So here is the dual metallic silver, right? You can see where I've used up some, but the barrel actually started right here. I noticed when I put this pen up to the other pens in the set, and it's hard to tell because I grabbed a purple one. Let me grab a lighter one. Maybe, possibly. There's got to be I lost my orange dual metallic somewhere in this house. It's here and exists. I just don't know where it went. Okay, so let's look at the gold. You can see the gold there. There's where the barrel started. So there's where the barrel starts here. The silver barrel doesn't start till up here. So basically, and I checked like all the pens, and I think all of them have the same amount of ink in them except for that silver. They shortchange you a fair amount on the silver, like by 1/3. And I don't know why they would do that, and that just bothers me, especially when these are the most expensive pens out of these that I'm looking at. I just think that's BS, and they, especially like I said, the flow of them is the best out of all these pens I've tried, but it's not worth it if they don't hardly give you any ink to start with. So that really irritated me about the Pentels. The dual hybrids, excuse me. Let's call them dual hybrids. You'll see why in a minute. I also don't like the fact that their blue-green and green-blue look almost exactly alike. There is definitely differences up here, but like these two look so close alike when you use them together, it's really hard to tell the difference. So to me, it's really only like 7 pens, but whatever. Okay, so there's that. And then what we're going to color with today, in the color and chat, is going to be the Pentel, and I should have wrote Pentel next to that, Sparkle Pop pens, because I got to thinking, I was like, well, the dual metallic hybrid ones, I was like, they look real similar to my Sparkle Pop pens that I have from Pentel. So I decided to swatch those. And sure as sure as shit, look at the swatches for that one and the one above it. Do those not look exactly the same? Am I crazy? They look exactly the same. So if you really are a Pentel fan, now these do flow well, and these are ones I've actually used for a while, and I like them very much. They flow very well, but they definitely don't have the lush flow of the dual metallic hybrids. And let me see if we have the same problem with this. So there's the silver one, and like I said, I've used these actually I have a fresh package of them. You can't really see it through the plastic. Okay, whatever, we know where the barrel started. Okay, so the barrel starts here. Yep. So I'm going to put them side by side. Might be a slightly less ink, slightly less, but it's not super significant. My gold's actually about out on here, and I can't tell. They do shortchange you on the gold. I just realized that. Let me just open this other pack. Because if I'm telling y'all something, I want to be telling y'all right. Sorry for the sounds of the plastic. No, see? I was wrong. There's the gold right there. New gold. New silver. Let me put these over here. And then we'll just grab purple. Yep, they all have the same amount of ink in them. And you can't see what I'm doing. There you go. So they don't shortchange you on these. You get the same amount of silver that you do in gold that you do in your other pens in the Sparkle Pops. So thumbs up for the Sparkle Pop. That right there is the key difference between the two. These, like I said, they're very lush when they go down. Probably some of the best flowing pens I've ever gotten. Definitely agree to that. But shortchanging me on the silver and at their price point, and like I said, the closeness of the blue and green, just for me, they're just not worth it. Now here's the even funnier thing. So obviously Dyvicl, you get more colors with them. You get 4 more pens, which is super cool, and you actually get some light colors, which I really like. So I bought the Crazy Pop Pentels, which is a pack of 4, and I swatched those. Now look at this. Look at the green here for Pentel, and look at the green for Dyvicl. Look at this dark blue. Look at that dark blue. The green is the only one that's really different. This green has some red mixed in with it, and this dark green doesn't. Or this green doesn't. That's the one it would closer match. It doesn't really have any red in it. It's not supposed to. It has more of a gold. Then that pink, that magenta-y pink, look at that. So basically, what you could do is build your, if you wanted a color swatch set like the Dyvicl, basically you can build it using the Sparkle Pop and Crazy Pop Pentel pens. But then you look at the prices, right? So you're looking at $18, $19 and some change, as opposed, so you're paying like almost $10 more for what you get in the Dyvicl. The only possibility in what universe I think that would be the better deal, it comes down to the amount of ink. Like I said, in the Dyvicl, I can't see how much ink's in them. If anybody knows that, please let me know, because that is the only thing that really makes me hesitate to tell people, yes, the Dyvicl is by far the winner in this little contest for me, in terms of ink for value. And once these took a little bit to get going, in terms of they were not scratchy, but they took a little bit to get a flow, but by the time I worked on my second picture with them, like, they were really nice pens. So, but like I said, I love the feel of the hybrids and the ink flow, but if you're not giving me a lot of ink to begin with, and it's going to burn all that much faster, and I'm not paying that much, when I can when I can get more if I build this set, basically, or, you know, get this set for the absolute budget. So if you're like me and you were kind of wondering what was the deal with some of the different Pentel products, I don't know why in the world the dual metallic and the sparkle pop both exist. I don't, because they look exactly the same. They're the same 1.0 millimeter pen. They're not any different there. The only difference I can tell is possibly the flow of the ink. And that's it. So I think that's just bizarre. I would have never guessed that when I first started this. So anyway, for those of you that like these, and I have grown to like them very much too, I just thought that was an interesting little tidbit of information. Now let me show you what I've done. If we back up a little, you will see my massive mess of gel pens. And now I have a whole brand new pack open. Oops. Oh well. Alright, so to just kind of compare them, I actually I colored two pages from the 50 Clover Mandalas by Kameliya Angelkova. So this one was the Pentel Dual Metallic Hybrid. Very nice. And again, I am a bit sad because I can't find the orange. Mostly just because, I mean, I like the pens and I'm going to use them because I bought them, but I mean, I'm definitely not going to buy them again. So, but it's here somewhere. Anyway, you can tell, I mean, like I said, they're just real kind of lush looking, I guess. I don't know how else to describe that, but anyway, they're very pretty. Now, here's the Dyvicl. You see? You still get that lush, rich color with like the purple and the dark blues and stuff and the dark greens, but I'll be honest, I kind of like the Dyvicl better because the colors seem a little lighter. Like you have the gold and the silver seem a lot brighter. You have this really nice light green. One of the things I've noticed coloring with gel pens this month, and I haven't used any of like the neon or type pens, is that like the glitter pens and stuff, they all can get looking a little dark, a little dull. And with the colors that were in this set, I don't know, they just popped a lot brighter to me. So I do like the Dyvicl very much. And then I can also show you, maybe I can. Maybe I just threw it to the wind. Well, yeah. I think I just threw it to the wind. It's over here. I've been having problems with my Amazon books curling on me lately. We're going to color another one out here today. That's going to be the color in chat. We're going to use the sparkle pops and everything. Just so I'm telling y'all what I see on swatches is what I'm seeing also translate to coloring pages. So 50 Animal Mandalas by Sach and Sach Diva. We did do this earlier in the month with a color in chat. This was our little metal hippo. I did take liberties with the color by number legend just because we didn't have all the colors. So there's that one. And then I also did one with the Pentel Dual Metallics. There's no orange in here because, like I said, I lost my orange. But again, the Dual Metallic Hybrid does look a little like a little more ink does go down on the paper. It does look a little more vibrant. Lush again is the word I'm thinking of. And not the bad kind of lush either. Not that there's a bad kind of lush, but yeah. Anyway, but there's that one. So like I said, I kind of prefer the Dyvicl here because even though this looks a lot more vibrant. There's a lot more ink down on the paper. I kind of like the lighter colors here a lot, and I'm pretty okay with it being a little thinner down on the paper, especially for the price point. So the biggest thing, like I said before, I go suggesting Dyvicl versus the Sparkle and Crazy Pop is basically just how long the Dyvicl lasts, and that I can't answer yet because I haven't run out of any of them, which I guess is a good thing. One other thing I did real quick, this is a Joanna Basford book, World of Flowers. I did use all 4 different types of pens on here just to see what it would do, and it does ghost through. If you hold it to the light, yeah, you can see it right there. So if you like using gel pens in double-sided books, and Joanna Basford paper is pretty thick, just be aware that these do put out a lot of pigment, and you may have some ghosting. So if you do want to use them, just be aware of that when you color with them. So, okay, now after that is kind of my overall review. That's going to be my big gel pen review of the month. That and this color and chat, because it's just been a month, y'all, and I unfortunately just didn't get to. I did color with the Flare glitter gel pens, which I'll talk about in my completed pages video. I'll talk about those a little bit along with these again, but I didn't even touch these yet. I'm hoping to get them maybe during the weekend. And of course, all my other major amounts of gel pens that are just sitting around that I was hoping to use this month for Gel Pen Jam have pretty much sat there except for one pen. So yeah, anyway, so we're going to start the color and chat portion of this. Basically, I'll be coloring while I'm talking, and then I won't color the whole page on here, or I'll either just stop and take it to the end and show you what it looks like at the end compared to the other pictures, or I'll just speed color through the rest. I don't know yet, because this is going to be a weird color and chat. That's why I wanted to do the comparison at the beginning. Some of y'all, this is going to be some heavy subjects talked about today, just because it's been a heavy month. My chronic illness issues, what happened with Oreo and everything like that. So some people, it's just, you know, you may not, I wouldn't say you're not interested, but for some people, they have their own struggles, and sometimes hearing about subject matter like that just brings you down further. And no judgment here. I completely understand. But the thing is, I got to get this out, and I got to talk about it, because the more I bottle my stuff up, the worse it makes me down the road. So yeah, we're going to do the color and chat portion. Now we're going to use our Sparkle Pop and Crazy Pop pens. I'm going to try to do a similar look to the other pages, just so that we have a similar comparison, somewhat. We're going to try. I don't know. I will say this, I have colored more with gel pens this month, guys, than I have in like years. It's definitely been a while. All right, let me get some coffee, and then oh, I got a fresh pack of the Sparkle Pop, by the way, because I'm running really low on my gold, and I've been using these a lot lately. And somebody on Instagram, I wish I could remember her name, had told me, actually I already know what the border is going to be, so let's just go ahead and start with that. Somebody on Instagram was talking, I think Color Ever After, and if I got the name wrong, I'm sorry, was talking about how much she liked them too, and she said that you could buy just the silver and the gold if you just needed those and didn't need the rest of the pens. And I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. And I went and looked, and I think it was like $8 for the 2 pens. And I was like, well, if they're $12 something, $12 for the whole pack. I don't want to spend $8 on two gel pens. It's like, that just seems silly. So I just went ahead and bought a whole nother pack. What's really gonna happen, y'all, is I have a big jar now with all of these different brands of pens in them. I'm gonna stick them all together. I'm gonna make a little index card of these swatches so I know what colors are what. And then we are going to, I'm just going to use them all together. Like, I mean, they're all, there's no super, other than that weird red green and the Crazy Pop, there's really no unique colors when you put all these together. There's really no unique colors, so I'm just going to stick them all in a jar and just be like, if I need the black/red, yeah, it's like a black color with metallic red over it. And in certain lights, these are supposed to look different. And I'm telling y'all, I can get a different sort of shade with all the other pens just about, but I cannot get any sort of just regular black shiny to show up on these black red pens. It's just dark red. That's all it is. It's just dark red. So, okay, yeah. Oh, and it doesn't help this morning that it is storming outside, and I can't open the door and let the cats go out on the porch, which they are quite displeased about. But, I actually went yesterday and had my first COVID vaccination, and that went just fine. Took a year for Tennessee to get themselves together. My state has not been on the ball whatsoever regarding the pandemic, and I have no problem saying that. And our governor is an absolute buffoon. So yeah, I will just gladly say that we have really just screwed it up. And it hasn't been till the last few months that I think they are finally starting to get things together. But I will say the people that the Department of Health that was running it for the county and everything, like, went very smoothly, stayed in the car. It was at a local college campus. And yeah, everything went just fine. I got the Pfizer, I believe, one. And I need to schedule my second appointment. The earliest I can go back is April 16th. So, and good news is my mom's been eligible for a bit, and she's gonna schedule to get it. I think she was kind of waiting. She wanted to get it when my dad got it. My dad, my mom's stubborn. She has COPD and stuff, so she already qualified. But Dad, the 55 plus age group hadn't opened up yet. And so Dad just qualified here a couple nights ago. So I'm hoping they will both go ahead and go get that done, especially because my dad had to go back to the Detroit airport and then drive down into Ohio for 2 more weeks of training with his new job. And that is driving me crazy. Now his company thankfully does at least provide free COVID testing, so he did test before he came back here. But there's always that couple days window where the test may not have picked it up yet, and so on. So hopefully, he went in February, and again, thankfully where he works, they are very adamant about mask wearing, and Ohio, the state, is very adamant about mask wearing, unlike Tennessee. So in some ways, he's probably been safer up there than he has been down here. But so hopefully he can at least get his shot, the first shot before he has to go back. And what is wrong with me this morning? My voice is just awful. Anyway, Mom kind of wants to go with him this next time, and I get why, because there's, when he's up there for 2 weeks straight, I mean, you get a whole weekend where like you're just not really doing anything, and now the weather's getting nicer. I'll say the flow on this, and I don't know why, but the flow on these seems pretty slow. It's not scratchy, it's just, and maybe, now to be fair, I've been using these pens for a while, so I can't sit there and just be like, hey, this is a brand new pen kind of comparison, so. But they thought about, like, if she goes, Dad wants to drive if he has to go again. Just being on the plane, even though everybody's wearing a mask, being in the airports is just, that's probably the riskiest place he's at. And for all the time he spends flying, then driving up and down, then the hour it takes for him to get to Nashville's airport, and just when you put it all together, he could drive it. I mean, it's the exact same amount of time. It's ridiculous, and he would just rather drive it. Now, not me. I'm not a. All those years of commuting back and forth to Nashville for work kind of burned me out on being in a vehicle for very long. So, but if my mom goes, she'll want to take her big. There's a word for it. The big oxygen, because she's got to wear oxygen. It's the big oxygen thing that has like water circulating in it and stuff. And they've got the new one they bought, but they also have a backup one. And she does have a travel little battery powered oxygen thing. But she'd like to, I mean, obviously she wants to take the other because it would be a lot more comfortable to use in the hotel room. And, you never know when the little battery thing would go wonky. Anyway, they thought, if they could go and drive and maybe sightsee a little on the way up there, sightsee a little there, like Dad's really close to, I think, Lake Erie, and like last time he went, they had like a bunch of really neat lighthouses and stuff, and like my parents don't travel much in that have never traveled much in that kind of direction, so. But of course, and I get it, but in my head I'm also like, I really wish you had already got your vaccinations before you got your vaccinations. Like, she's a cat and she's got to go in for her yearly annual vaccinations. Anyway, so my brother got his before I did even. He's 12 years younger than me. We both qualify under the at-risk group because we both qualify as obese when you take into account like BMI and stuff like that. And I've never tried to say on here that I am at any healthy weight for me. I am most certainly not, but anyway, so he checked one day and there was actual openings on that very day, so he went and got it, and I went ahead and scheduled mine about 2 or 3 weeks ahead, and with everything that happened, that kind of worked out anyway. I wouldn't have been able to just do it last minute. But so yeah, hopefully, I'm hoping actually, I think I saw April 5th they're opening for everybody in Tennessee, all ages, all groups, which is awesome. But part of the reason they, before they started getting more vaccine, I guess, part of the reason they were able to move a little quicker is because people are refusing to get it. And I really, 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 really do not need to get into that today. I am in no mood whatsoever for foolishness. But anyway, so take from that what you will. But hopefully, my husband will be able to be able to schedule it after the 5th, and then hopefully we will all be vaccinated. I'm hoping by maybe the end of April, we will have our full set. I'm feeling pretty okay. I am sore. It's not just a little sore, but it's not like horrible excruciating pain either. It's just, heaven forbid I accidentally knock that shoulder against a door frame. That would probably hurt pretty good. It is sore. My upper body around my shoulders and both arms and stuff are all together a little sore. My back and stuff, now I don't know if that is related to that or that is just my body finally physically loosening up after everything that's happened, and that's probably the more likely scenario. And every time that happens, I get, obvious residual soreness. So can't blame the vaccine for that necessarily. But no, other than that, I've been just fine. I think it's the second one that most people, if they're going to have any sort of side effects, that's usually where they report them. So that was like the one bit of good news that I had to share. As a weird aside, my neighbors are also moving, and I'm sad about that. I just happen to notice them out there trying to finish packing up, and it is like monsoon season outside right now. I feel so bad for them. No, they were here. Well, at least the husband and I guess his previous wife were here when I moved in to my house, and they've always been super awesome. They had a cat named Katie, who I think was somehow related to Winry because they look really alike. Katie was just a fatter version of Winry. Winry's never gotten much past the young cat phase of growth. She's kind of a runt, or she's kind of a runt. And Katie was always cool. She kept most of the other random stray cats away, and she'd come over here and hang out all the time, and I didn't care. We used to joke that we kind of co-owned her there for a while. I'd give her a little bit of food. She was definitely spoiled, and they're like, we try to keep her inside, but she can't stand it. She can't stand staying inside all the time. And she lived for a indoor-outdoor cat, she was definitely up there in years when she finally passed away. So that was sad. I cried with them. But anyway, they're, I think, moving to be closer to family, and they put their house up for sale. It was like a month ago, and I saw what they priced it at, and I told my husband, I said, oh, they ain't going to take long at all to go get under contract. Sure enough, they actually, I think, got $10,000 above asking for it, which was, it got kind of competitive there. I think they had 2 offers. So, but they've been slowly moving over a month, and I think they said they got to turn in the keys today. So they were trying desperately to finish up today and clean. And I looked at the weather yesterday, and I could have sworn it said today was just going to be pretty and like 70 and just sun and clouds. And then I got a flood watch thing last night. Now they're talking about strong storms again. And I'm like, where did this come from? This is not what I was promised. I want to register a complaint because this is not what I was promised. Somebody pulled a bait and switch on me, and I do not approve. Do not approve. All right. So let's use the orange for these flowers. I think I'll use the orange. We'll use that light green color, silver background, and then I might use the darker green for the clovers. Like I said, I'm trying to keep this pretty similar to the way I use the colors in the other mandalas. I use both of them. Now see, the flow in this one's just fine. I feel like the flow in these pens is right for me because I've used these for a while, so I have a little more experience with these. The flow is right between the Dyvicl and the dual metallic to me. They're super easy to use. So anyway, this whole gel pen situation is so bizarre. I don't understand what Pentel's doing, unless they're just trying to get more money out of people. I don't know that for sure, but I just think it's weird to have two products that look exactly the same but are named differently. So I don't know. Maybe they're doing away with Sparkle Pop eventually. Maybe that's what's going to happen. But they seem to be pretty popular, so I would be surprised if they did. And I actually am probably going to go and get rid of it because it is a completely different feeling. But I have a first thoughts on these Sparkle Pop pens. When I first got these suckers, I did not like them. Did not like them at all. I just thought they were weird. And then over time, they have really grown on me. So I've got to go back and clean up so much stuff. I need to create better playlists. I need to clean up some of my videos. Maybe get rid of some of the old color and chats that haven't been doing all that great. Sorry, I'm sitting here thinking, you know, we'll probably do both orange and pink in here because the middle's not quite as detailed as like the other one was. So I'm trying to think of, well, we'll do these and then I'll worry about that later. So, but I messaged Lisa from Lisa's Coloring Corner, and I apologized to her because I'd agreed to host Gel Pen Jam this month, which has been going great. People have been contributing, and thank you so much. Man, I hadn't even gotten around to posting the hippo I did on here on Instagram, and I just apologized to her a couple nights ago, which she, of course was like, don't worry about it, it's understandable, but I still feel really bad that's why I struggle with color alongs, because I just usually, if I want to do one, it either goes really, really well or it completely blows up my face because something crazy happens. And the something crazy this month has just been March. It's been pretty awful, not gonna lie. I mean, there were rustlings in February that things were going to go awry. January started off so well, and then it's like I had problems getting my Savella, which is my antidepressant, refilled. That was a problem. That kind of just, I don't know, that just kind of started the ball rolling. And then all of a sudden I messed up my knees, and we had that pipe bust during that big cold snap in February, and we had to get that fixed. And we had other things that got fixed during that time too. And then March hit, and first off, work just went nuts. I cannot talk about it at length on here because there are people at work that know about my channel, so I mean, I don't ever talk about work hardly anyway on here, but I'm definitely not going to talk about work now. Just to say that I got pretty frustrated this month. We are a high demand group at work, and we are getting a lot of requests, which is great. And I just, there are not enough people for the work that we have, and it's just, and that's not just a my work problem. I have a feeling that's happening in a lot of places where people are just getting more and more responsibility, that they just, you've got people working more than a 40-hour job, and it's just been the end of the quarter hit, and it's just everybody wanted something at once. And right at the same time, right at the start of the month when all that started, I do take another medication called pregabalin. It is Lyrica, I guess, is kind of like the brand name. I take that for fibromyalgia as well, and never had a problem filling that one. Never had a problem. It's always been like, the Seville has always been the special one that I get the conversation every time I go to fill it. You do realize this costs, this says that you owe, like in January, $1,000 for 3 months of this medication. And then they just look at me like I'm going to tell them no, and most sane people would. But because I need the medicine to be sane, I have to tell them, yes, I am well aware, and let's get to it. I mean, I appreciate that they warn me before trying to stick me with a bill, but when you keep hearing that every single time you go to fill this med, it gets old. I'm going to hit my deductible, though, I'm pretty sure, with the next 3 months supply. So hopefully that will be the last time I really have to put in that much for the year. So, alright, what did I say? I was going to get the really light green, which is the Crazy Pop, what's it called? Lemon Lime Slime. But, you notice I'm putting it off. I'm putting off talking about it. But I need to talk about it. I need to. So, most of you know, I posted on the community page here some pictures of them during the week, and then I also posted on Instagram about it. Oreo passed away last weekend. I actually had planned to go get his ashes already, and I was going to go get them today, but from the way it's storming, I don't know, I may have to wait till Monday. So Oreo's like, he was at least 16. I think he was closer to 17. And so he was an older cat, and I'm sure I've mentioned him before on how I got him, but it was during the chaotic time of my life when I was married to my second husband, and every so often a cat would show up at the door, and my second husband would be like, oh, what's one more? And, you know, like, he needed to convince me of anything. So, like, I was going to be the hard one on that particular subject. Like, I was going to be the tough one. Anyway, we'd been here, and his grandparents had a cat named Oreo, he was an outside cat, and would see him all the time when we went to visit his grandparents. Very friendly cat. And he was about 6 or 7, and we had one really cold winter where it was just like single digits for, you know, weeks on and off, and so they wanted to bring him in, which I, you know, thought that was a great idea. And So they brought him in. Well, his grandmother has osteoporosis, and Oreo he was nervous as all get out. Obviously, moving to inside at 6 or 7 is really tough on a cat, on a lot of cats. And he would dart around on the ground and stuff, and they were like just really worried she was going to fall over him and hurt herself. So they were just going to put him back outside. Did not want that to happen, especially because it was still cold. And I talked to my ex about it, and I'm like, how would they feel if maybe we took him in? So we talked about it and agreed on it, and he came to live with us. And those first few years were really rough. He would just stay in the back part of the house. He was not big on coming anywhere in the front part of the house, which is where the living room and the master bedroom are. He was happy enough. I mean, he let us come and pet him and stuff, but it's not like he wasn't definitely wasn't a lap cat. Didn't play with toys. Didn't just yeah. And because he was an older cat, he had some adjustment issues. My cat Tiger in particular, that cat not really hated, but he would get all dramatic over any other cat that came into this house after him. And there were a lot of cats that came through this house. The dramatic level would vary. It wasn't so bad with kittens. But older cats, like Cal was a couple years old when he came in. Oh gosh, yeah. No, Tiger and Cal, Tiger did not like Cal. And Tiger did not like Oreo. And things would be fine for a few months and everybody'd be fine, and all of a sudden Tiger would get like a bee in his bonnet and he'd aggravate Oreo. Well, Bagheera also liked to aggravate Oreo. And so it it took it was tough, but overall it was still a positive experience for him. So I figured as time would go on, everybody would adjust, and it did get better as time went on. Though we still stayed in the back part of the house, and I couldn't figure out why. You'd think maybe it was noise or something, but like my stepson at the time, his room was back there, and he was young, like 6 or 7, and he definitely made a lot of noise, and that didn't run Oreo off, so I don't really know what the deal was. But when my ex and my stepson moved out, it was like all of a sudden he just came out of his shell. He became a completely different cat. All of a sudden, he's in the living room, he's in the bedroom, he's getting in the bed with me every night, he's getting up on the couch with me, maybe not just sitting fully in my lap, but like he would sit beside me and want me to pet him and love on him, and he was just super happy cat, like. And then he started playing with stuff, started playing with toys and everything. So I don't know what that was all about. In retrospect, I really wonder, because of the type of cat he became, in retrospect, I wonder if, sorry, he knew I was hurting during that time, and so he, felt compelled to come in there and try to offer some comfort, and that's really the type of cat that he became. And, he really took to my now husband when he moved in, and he not only would constantly lounge on me, but he would go lounge on him when I wasn't available. He was an equal opportunity pet and cat. Like he definitely, I think he even liked my brother. Like he was not a shy cat by any means. And couple of years ago, we noticed that he started doing, well, I'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, getting older, he's been having a whole host of issues. The focal seizures that I'll talk about in a minute. He was in end-stage kidney disease, and he had a heart murmur, and he had high blood pressure. I mean, he had a lot of things going wrong with him. But he He's had a great appetite. He's never let any of it slow him down these last few years. And then I had to go off my gabapentin for a couple weeks, and I was just useless. Even with the cats, it was hard. Like, I mean, I still fed them, I still did everything I needed to do with them, but I definitely wasn't as on the ball with them as I usually would be. And not that I think it ultimately mattered, but um, right about the time I finally got back on my full dose of gabapentin, I noticed Oreo just like dropped off eating, and that was immediately a red flag to me, because that cat's always been one of my best eaters in the house, and he just it dropped off really quick, and I could tell he was not doing well. So he went to the vet, and I kept y'all posted. The week before last, we thought, when they did x-rays and stuff, they found kind of some weird stuff going on with his digestive system. He was constipated. They wanted to try to give him fluids to flush everything out. They thought maybe he had just gotten, I guess he had just gotten backed up, and maybe doing that we'd get a better idea of what else may be going on. His kidney numbers actually looked a little better than they did last time, but he had dropped weight, and he his heart murmur went from a 1, which is hardly there, to like a 4, which is not good, in like 4 months too. It was a really quick jump. So they couldn't really sedate him to do anything. And I didn't want to leave him there, and it was really hard to do so because I was worried he just wouldn't come back home. And I knew he was scared. I knew he was upset being there. And they had to be careful with the IV fluids, because he was anemic too because of the kidney issues. Cats with anemia and heart murmurs, too much fluid I think it decreases the amount of red blood cells in their system and can like kick them over into heart failure more. So you have to be really careful with it. After a day getting fluids, I mean, they managed to get him to pass everything, but then he was having the opposite issue. And the vet's like, he is just emotionally completely checked out. She said, I would like to see if maybe we could get him home. Maybe that would perk him up some. And he would, when he came home, he'd go to the litter box to pee, but like the other stuff that was happening, I basically had to follow him around and clean up after him, and it was rough. And I can't go into a whole bunch of detail over like the next 3 nights, but I can't talk about it in that length. I just can't. But I stayed up with him for basically 3 nights. I thought it was his kidneys. I thought they really were, just messed up. The numbers weren't right. The buildup of toxins in his body was causing some of his other issues. He would go to the water bowl like he needed to drink, and he would go every 2 hours. Every 2 hours he would go. And he would just stop and just stare at the water bowl. And he wouldn't drink. And he would do that. I also noticed when he come home, like, I didn't see him sleep at all. Like, he would sit there and kind of kitty loaf, and he'd tilt his head a little, but it's almost like he couldn't lay his head the whole way down. And he was also twitching some. And so we thought it was probably a stroke. But that ultimately became the big problem, was the poor guy couldn't sleep. Whatever was going on had screwed him up in that he couldn't actually sleep. He couldn't lay his head down. He couldn't drink water. No matter how comfortable he was, like I said, every 2 hours, 3 hours without fail, he would get up and go to that water bowl. Like something had just completely rewired his system in a lot of cases. Now he would still come in there with us, and the night before we took him in, he actually came in there and got up in my husband's lap, and that was the most comfortable I'd seen him in 3 days. And he almost looked like he was able to lay his head down, but he had to go very slowly. You could just tell something wasn't right. And he laid there and he was all comfortable and everything. And then, like I said, right at that 2 hour mark, he was up. And, I was able to help a little with the water bowl situation. I was syringe feeding him at this point, obviously, but I also started syringing in some water. We bumped up his fluids some just to see if doing so, because like I said, I still thought it was his kidneys, might pull him out of whatever hole he's in. And he would walk away from the bowls. I would syringe water in him, and he would walk away from the bowls. But then, and he'd go and try to rest for a few hours. But sure enough, he'd come right back in a couple hours. So it wasn't getting any better by Sunday, or by Friday night, and we just knew. I could not let that poor guy just sit there for days and not be able to sleep any longer. I just couldn't do it to him. He was aware enough he didn't really want to be around me as much because I was the evil one that was constantly syringing food and medicine and stuff into him. He got up with me a few times, but he was just restless. He just couldn't get comfortable. And I know for that decision is a decision that is just, I'm not going to sit here and say something's right or wrong. I'm not going to judge anybody for doing things differently with their animals. Everybody's got their own beliefs and their own way of doing things, but I had done all I could for him, and I could tell that it was just out of our reach, and I wasn't personally going to let him sit around and continue to struggle like that, especially when he just couldn't sleep. I mean, no, he was so tired, y'all. And I can't do that to them. To me, as awful as the alternative is, there was nothing else I could give him or help him with. But the one thing I could do was help him finally rest. That was the one thing I could do for him. So we went in Saturday, and talking to the vet afterwards, just the quick look she had with him and the way we were talking, she said, I honestly think it was likely is either something neurological or it was an actual brain tumor. She said where he's had those focal seizures the last few years, she said that is probably connected to it. It's just been slow growing. And as time has went on, it started affecting his ability to do certain tasks and his ability to actually lay his head down. And the more we talked about it, the more we thought about some of the ways he's acted in the last few years. It started to make, it makes sense. And a brain tumor in a cat, that's just not much you can do about that, especially when it's gotten to that point. So I think he was ready, and it was time, and I was there with him. That is the thing. As hard as it is on me, I can't leave them. I will, like I said, I will be there for them. It's the last thing I can do for them. I'm going to do it. As hard as it is on me. So, So yeah, um, it affected my. I'm gonna have to turn the book, y'all. Sorry. It affected my husband too. He, like I said, Oreo was really the first cat. We have a couple cats that seem to prefer him now over me, but Oreo and Maggie are really the two cats that like us both. And a lot of the other cats I've had pass away before then. He liked them and he cared about them, but they just, like, Annie didn't want anything to do with them. She wouldn't even let him. Only time she'd ever let him pet her is if she was laying on me in the bed and he just slowly shifted over and started petting her. It's about the only time she'd let him pet her. So, it's understandable he wouldn't be as close to Annie or some of the other cats like that. But Oreo he loved hanging out with him. He loved hanging out with me. He loved us both. And so it's been hard on my husband too. It's really the first one that, was like that. So I just, I don't know. Each time this happens, I keep saying they keep taking a piece of me with them, and with as many as I have, I just don't know how much of me is going to be left when the last one goes. But there was no real time to deal with it, to work through it. In this house, these guys, they're my best friends, and for people, a lot of times you have decades with your best friends, hopefully. And I'm lucky if I get 16 or 17 years with them. And with him, I got even less because he was older when he showed up. And let me tell you all, that cat was my one of my comforters. I remember when Felix passed away. That was the very first cat I'd ever gotten. Was really close to him, and it was really hard. And I had also went like a really long stretch without having a cat pass away, and he was the first one that kind of kicked everything off a few years ago with the other ones as they've gotten older. And so it was just hitting me from all different fronts. And I was laying in bed. We were laying in bed that night, and Oreo jumps up in the bed and crawls up on me and lays on my chest, just like Felix would always do. And none of the other cats do that. And Oreo had never done that up to that point. Even my husband was surprised, and he's, skeptical of any sort of, they can sense this or that or whatever. Like, it even surprised him. And that cat continued to lay on me like that up until, I mean, just for the rest of his life, he did. He was, like I said, he comforted me during my divorce. He comforted me when the other cats would pass away, and then, he kind of stood in for Felix a bit there. And now it's like, what do I do now, I guess? Okay, so we've done that so far. Let me see how I want to do the other part. So we've got the purpley color, which I think would be pretty for the flowers. What do I want to use? Sorry, trying to figure this out. Oh, actually, I probably should use the gold background there, but that's fine. We will, yeah, let's do purple flowers. That looks like plan. Purple and the magenta crazy pop color. I think this is it. Yeah, okay. we'll do that as a mix for the flowers. Like I said, they're not going to look exactly the same, but I try to use at least somewhat similar colors so you can kind of get an idea of how they look compared to each other. But I didn't really have any time much to work through it. That weekend I was trying desperately just to catch up on sleep, and that wasn't happening. Um, my body just refused, like it just flat out refused to try to go back to normal. And I was still all worked up and everything when I went back to work on Monday, and it was crazy at work, and it just wasn't getting any better. And, trying to think here. And I hit my end point, like my absolute just cannot do any more of this. About Tuesday, I still hadn't slept decently, and my body was so tense. I was really worried my right shoulder, if I get tense for too long like that, my right shoulder will lock up, and then I can't do anything. I can't color, I can't work. It'll lock up from my neck to my wrist. And can't go see a massage therapist right now, or I don't want to, because hello, that's why I want to get these vaccinations. But I knew it was going to happen if I didn't do something to physically try to relax a little. And so I sat there and I said, I finally got caught up on my projects. I was able to pull my head up for the first time since the first of the month. And I said, I am taking a few days off. So I took Thursday and Friday. I will be out Monday and part of Tuesday. I was going to take all of Tuesday, but I'm needed for a report. Which yesterday I had to go to the town nearby for the vaccine. I also went and visited with my family for a while, of course still wearing a mask. We figured out, me being there with a mask on for a few hours is pretty low risk. So, but I don't do it a ton of times. That was the first time I'd been over there in a few months. So, hung out with them a little bit. Picked us up some takeout dinner on the way home. And then went over and said bye to my neighbors last night. And, but then Monday I have to go in to the dentist to get a cleaning and a temporary crown put on where they pulled that tooth last year. I'm probably going to try the pickup option at Walmart. We're going to see how that goes. So yeah, a lot of my time is being spent on appointments and stuff too, but I'm telling y'all, like, when I lay down to try to take a nap on Wednesday, like right when I was about to take off, that was the moment everything finally started kind of loosening up. It really had just been everything, and I just didn't really have time to. It's hard, I guess. Grief is hard, obviously, Michelle. I mean, duh. But like, I used to, struggle a lot with bottling stuff up and not wanting to talk about it, and that led to some just really messed up internal issues. And it was one of the many things I had to work through in therapy. Like, I used to say, oh, I never get angry. And the therapist is like, oh, you bottle all that up. And I was just like, no, I just never get angry. And oh boy, she was right. She was right. And when you do that and you bottle up and you finally get to the point where you're getting used to releasing it, then you're just angry at everything all the time. Like, it goes the complete opposite direction for a while, because you finally are allowing yourself to feel something, so then your body's like, oh, we're just gonna be angry at everything now for a while, just to revel in this feeling. But no, I mean, I used to just bottle everything up, and with the depression and the just ongoing depression that I seem to have, it is hard to tell when it's okay to distract yourself versus, hey, you need to think about this some and talk about it and process it. And I've been struggling with that this week. I actually went ahead and had my appointment with my therapist on Thursday, and it was like, I really just didn't want to talk about it, but I knew I needed to. I knew I needed to, because if I don't, then it bottles up, and then it's just going to keep coming out in weird ways. So that's why I wanted to talk about it here. I know it's a sad subject, and it's probably not ideal color and chat material, but it is my life. As one thing I've always said about this channel is that ultimately, whether it's good or bad or fun or not, I'm gonna talk about it, and it's just one of those things I've got to do. So um, I don't know yet what I want to do in terms of like an in memory kind of thing. Like when Annie passed away last year, y'all know I actually had I had a big coloring pencil page I did with a cat in it that I colored like her. I also did another picture out of cats and kittens by Coloring Book Cafe, where I colored one that looked like, I think I have 2 or 3 pictures actually where I colored. I I don't know if I'm going to do the same with Oreo. I've done it for some of the cats and some of the ones I haven't. I do want to do some, I have an idea for a longer term type project where maybe I create like a little book or something, and on one side I have a page colored like the cat, and then on the other page maybe I do some sort of collage where, I talk about the different personality traits of the cat, or good memories that I don't want to lose of that particular cat. So I've thought about that. I'm just not quite there. I'm not to the point I want to do that just yet. So it also did not help y'all, because the morning I had to take him in, Leroy started throwing up, and he wouldn't stop. And I couldn't handle taking them both in, so I had to just talk to the vet while I was there. Let me grab some coffee. And she gave me a shot of Zofran to give him. My assumption was he just got into some food, and I don't think I've used the regular grain. My assumption was he got into some of the food he ate just didn't set with him. So I gave him a shot of Zofran. He was fine all evening, and then Saturday night he started throwing up again. And then on Sunday, all night Saturday night, he wanted to be in the bed with us, but he wasn't eating anything at that point, but like it was just bile, and nothing gets you out of bed faster in the middle of the night than a cat making that sound, especially if they're in the bed with you and you got to toss them off the bed. But no, he was still. I called the emergency vet that weekend, and I hated to, but I was just, y'all, I was so exhausted, and I was so just, I was concerned, but I was also just kind of like, I don't have the emotional capacity for this right now. And then Bagheera started throwing up too, so I called the vet, and she's like, I called her, fed them breakfast. I figured they were going to throw up right after breakfast, because they were both still acting like they were hungry the whole time. They just couldn't keep anything on their stomach, and I cannot give Leroy a pill. We have Serenia, which is an anti-nausea med we use for Cydonia, and I will use with Maggie on occasion. Just basically, I've used it and I'm very familiar with it. And I cannot give that cat a pill. Just can't do it. We used to, when we gave him amitriptyline, we used to have to special order the liquid version because that was all I could get into him. Even that wasn't easy. But I mean, when I tried to give him that Zofran shot, I'm pretty sure I stuck myself at least once. He's just not a good. He's not a good patient, not by any means. And but they didn't throw up after breakfast Sunday, and but I still talked to her, and she said, you know, give them till this evening. Don't let them eat anything else. Just give them a chance for their stomachs to settle. And thankfully, their stomachs settled. And so, but that was tough because I was like, really, you know, I can't. And that was the thing. I felt so bad. Like I was worried about him. Obviously, I was doing everything I could to help him at the risk of losing my own fingers even. Thing is, I could get the actual pill in his mouth, it wouldn't stay down. He'd just throw it right back up. And Serenia is not cheap. And so after trying that once or twice, you're kind of like, yeah, no, we're not trying this again. So it got better, but then Maggie was throwing up some this week, and Big Ear was throwing up again, and I think it's one of the types of food. I actually tossed the whole box. It's these little packets of food, and I've been getting it for months and haven't had an issue. So, you know, that's really weird, but I just tossed the whole box. I was like, that's the only connection I have between all of them and all of them getting sick. So, all right, let's see, what color have I not used? I've not used like the pink, like flat out pink color, so we're gonna use that for this piece right here. And I didn't say anything on Instagram because again, I didn't have the brain capacity. I just didn't. I just couldn't. I do want to say though, and I'm already getting ready to cry when I say this. And I'm coloring off camera. Y'all have no idea what I'm doing. Hi, Leroy. Are you going to jump up on the printer today? I'll let you out in a minute. I think it stopped thundering finally. No, y'all, I know people were probably getting tired of seeing me post about my cat all week on Instagram and here on YouTube and stuff, but the amount of support y'all have given me just, it's crazy. You don't think just some basic, you don't think a Instagram comment is really going to affect a person's life or whatever, but it does. For me, when I'm hurting, I always want to retreat. I always want to retreat and hide and go into hermit mode, as I call it. And because it hurts, and a lot of times I don't feel like people get it and understand, especially when it comes to the animals. So because I don't think people understand. I retreat to myself because I just don't think I can talk to anybody about it. And like, you guys get it. A lot of you, a lot of you get it. I felt so terrible. I know Misty from Country NCC is her Instagram profile. I can't think of her YouTube channel name. That poor girl, she lost one of her she lost a bird, and she lost one of her sugar gliders, both like within days of each other this past few weeks. And then I can't think of her name, but the Anxiety Art Adventures channel, I know she had a pet pass away, and it's been a really hard month for all of us, like hard month for us, a hard month for our animals, for goodness sake. I mean, it has not been an easy month, and but like, y'all get it. And this time when I got home, I didn't want to be alone. Most of the time I would retreat and just lay in the bed and just be. And like, I didn't want to do that. It's like I I didn't want to be alone this time. So I've tried really hard not to completely disconnect myself this week. It's been hard. I mean, I don't necessarily have social energy. Oh wow, that's really weird. So that wasn't planned, but that's kind of cool. I'm sorry, I got so distracted. The red from this green actually mixes just almost perfect with the red from the black. Huh. Well, I'll be. Yeah, I actually see, depending on the light, I see less of the green and more of the red in this. And I didn't even realize that when I started that. So that works out. But I've had a couple people send me some happy mail this week. Hi, Leroy. Hi, buddy. Yes. Yes, that's the camera. Rub, shake the camera. Hi. I know. I know. I know. The window is not open. Let me pause this and see if I can go let him out before he destroys everything like Godzilla. Yeah, so I had to open the door, and then my husband's actually going to run and go pick up. Sid's got some medicine. We're switching her back to it's called mirtazapine appetite stimulant. I think that works better than the Entice that we've been using. Maggie seems to do okay with the Entice. The mirtazapine's a little weird because it makes him a little crazy. Maggie more so. That's the reason why I stick with the Entice with him. But it just didn't seem to do well with Sid. Though that first time, like when she first takes it, that first initial dose, oh my gosh. She about drove us crazy with her just random howling and stuff. So, but once it gets in her system, she's usually fine. So, but anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna try to get some videos recorded for the week, so that, I mean, like I said, I've got stuff to do on Monday. This takes some of the pressure off, and then I feel like because I actually want to do some videos. It's not, I feel like I'm forced to. I want to. But I knew this one was going to be the big one, like the one where I needed to talk about it. And yeah, so knowing, and even during, I'm not going to go into detail about the process or anything. Obviously, I wouldn't want to talk about it. I'm going to turn this. Sorry, guys. It's just the way I do these. I have to really turn them to be able to get to everything. And hopefully not leave a bunch of marks. The process, like just the way things went, and nothing crazy happened, but they had to use the way where they sedate them first. They had to use extra because if they have a brain tumor or some type of neurological issue, a lot of times that messes with how their body reacts to sedation. And he was the same way. Like it took more to get him to relax than it should have. And she said that right there is a huge sign that that's probably what it was. And I think knowing I mean, when it comes to stuff like this, it's never anything you could really do anything about anyway, but knowing that's what it probably was made the decision a lot easier for me. He knew, I mean, he was aware enough that he knew us and he knew where we were at. Like, he would come and seek us out some and everything. So I'm not saying he wasn't there anymore, but you could definitely tell he was struggling. Like, we used to wonder if he had some type of kitty dementia going on, just the way he would space out. So, but the biggest thing was just that poor cat needed needed to rest. And so it doesn't it doesn't get any easier. They're all different. It hits different with all of them. He was our comfort cat. He was our present cat. Let me see. Are there any colors? That dark blue I haven't used. I've used silver. I've used the green. I don't think I've used the other blue either. Just the normal blue. I've used the purple. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's just these two. So we've got these blues. These would be good to use for these little areas here. But, and I'm sorry, I know this is a really long one. But if it wasn't warm outside to where he could go and lay in his chair in the sun, he was in there with us, or he was in here in this office with me. He loved being around us and hanging out with us, especially in the evenings. He was always around us, and Maggie's been acting weird, like he and Oreo used to like constantly, that's why you see so many pictures I've posted of them together, because they were constantly like trying to juggle laying on me or laying beside me, and they both learned very quickly that the only way they could both lay there is if they got along. They couldn't fight. Now can't fight and do that. And and that was what really led to a lot of the cute pictures and stuff, because they realized they were going to have to get along if they both wanted to lay there. So that's why I've got so many cute pictures of them. I wouldn't necessarily say they were bestest buds. They just tolerated each other so they could ultimately lay beside me. But Maggie's gotten on me some when I'm in there on the couch. But really and truly, it has just felt kind of lonely. And you're like, you have 7 cats. How does it feel lonely? And it does. It does, because a lot of them, they're affectionate to a point, but they don't come around like all the time or whatever. And most of the time, you wouldn't even know we had that many cats until it's a mealtime. Because they go into different rooms and do their own thing. And if it's sunny outside, some of them are on the porch. Some of them are in a different room. And some of them are upstairs. They don't necessarily want to be around us all the time. I'd say Winry and Maggie are the two that probably tend to want to be around me more. Poor Bagheera, man. He had adopted Felix years ago as his bestest bud, and I say adopted because Felix didn't particularly enjoy it when Bagheera would show up and want to groom and cuddle with him, but he tolerated it, and it was really cute. And then for some reason, even though he used to chase him, he became that way with Oreo. After Felix passed away, I think Bagheera actually was depressed a little bit for a long time. And then when he, kind of got over it, then he started doing the same thing with Oreo. And I noticed he had stopped hanging out with Oreo before all this started. So, I mean, it was one of those things I think the cats knew before we knew. But I can tell he's down, and he's not feeling great either. But what's kind of cute is he's been going upstairs, which is unusual for him. And every time I go upstairs, I realize he was on the chaise upstairs. He'd be on one end, and Leroy would be on the other end. And what's funny is they're all black and white cats, guys. Like, he has a friendship type, or a, I don't know, a lover type. I don't know. I mean, he has a type, and they're all black and white cats, and it's really funny. I feel bad for him, but it's kind of funny too, especially because I don't see any universe where Leroy is going to snuggle with him anytime soon. But boy, does he try, bless his heart. Oreo used to go to bed with me at night too, and so I've definitely missed him there. He'd get up between me and my husband at night, and I'd have to make room for him and move the pillows so there was a space between our pillows, and that's where he would lay all night. And of course, that's missing. But now Leroy will get up in the bed where Oreo was getting there before. Um, Maggie doesn't like that. It's always, it's not just me that's affected. I mean, and this time I think it helped. I didn't feel like I know my husband understands, but like I said, he just wasn't as close to the other cats. And this time has helped because I feel like he gets it a little more this time. And that has helped me not feel quite as alone either. So like I said, anytime this happens, it's not just affecting me. It's affecting all the cats, even the ones that don't never hung out with them. They can tell things are different, routines are disrupted, um, and it's kind of just an adjustment period for all of us. So yeah, just I don't know. I'm here. Other than that, I wouldn't say I don't really know how I feel at right now. Just tired more than anything. My stomach's been acting up the last few days too, which hasn't helped. I didn't sleep great last night, and then freaking monsoon happened this morning, and just constant thunder for like 2 or 3 hours. And I don't know, around 8 or 9, I just gave up. But it's just I've been down the entire month, and obviously Oreo's situation was the hardest at the end and was the worst thing of it, but it's just all been coming together, and it's just been a very hard time. And like I said, we were doing so great in January, and then it just feels like starting in February, things just start going wrong, and it's just been one thing after another, and this was like, just this is obviously the worst of it all, and when you're already exhausted going into a situation like this, it just, I don't know, it just drains you. And but I do want to try. I'm thinking, we're going to do a few videos this week, and I'm going to try to get back into the swing of things. I figured if I record some ahead of time, I don't think work's going to be as bad when I go back. Some people are out on vacation, for a lot longer, so but no, hopefully things will be okay once I go back. It won't be as busy. And I'm hoping like to actually start trying again in April with goal setting. Y'all know I was trying to do the 40 for 40 this year, and I have not given up on that. I have not given up on that. We just got to start again. I got to figure out how many how many points, quote, how many goals I've done so far. I was trying to think, because I don't think I ever calculated February, and I didn't set any for March. But I can still get there. So I'm hoping. I had a color along I was going to do in April, but I'm just not going to do it. I'm not in a place where I feel like I can comfortably handle that and everything else right now. And it's a shame, because it was going to be a color along for C.L. Aldridge. If y'all aren't familiar with her, she is a wonderful artist, very active on social media. She does a live stream every weekend on her channel. and she's just awesome. And I have not been coloring in her stuff lately, and this month would have been great. Actually, might try to get one of her books out if I can't do it this month, but next month, and use these gel pens in there. But I love her books, I love her art, and I thought it would be nice to show her some love for April. And I can't, I I screwed up this month so bad, and if I'm going to do a color along, I want to be able to do it right. And so here, we're going to turn the book again. So I'll have to do that another time, but I definitely still want to color. I've just not given her books very much love lately, and I want to change that. I've not touched my new watercolors. I want to get into those. Those Brett Ferner square pencils are still sitting in their case in the plastic. I haven't done anything with those. I hadn't really done anything with gel pens till this last week, so I mean, I wish I had a lot more time. Like, just wish I could. Honestly, I feel like I could just take a sabbatical right now, but it's just not possible with my job and stuff. I'm a contractor, and you know, if you're going to take a sabbatical, they're going to replace you. So I just wish I had a few months to just kind of exist and get myself together, and just not happening. I'm also going to start trying to get on the exercise bike and see if I can improve my knees in that situation. Maybe use the ring fit just for my upper arms for right now. That was a big blow. I really enjoyed using that ring fit, and I was doing really good with being more active, and then my knees messed up, and it was like, it just about broke my heart because I was enjoying it. I was having so much fun with it. And then, like, when you were playing the actual game, you can't really customize it to just your arms or certain parts of your body. You have to just use the custom exercise menu. And that was where I was consistent because it was a game. And when it stopped being a game, stopped being fun, then I didn't want to do it anymore. So I'm going to but only way I'm going to be able to get back to it is if I try to strengthen my knees. So gonna try to do that. I think today or tomorrow I'm gonna just set some small goals, do like I did in January. I also was bad this month and actually bought some of the Eerie books from Etsy. I think I got the Kanoko Agusa Symphony of Animals or whatever it's called as well. Pretty expensive books when you include shipping, but I was just whatever, y'all. And then I ordered a few more books, of course. Color Questopia just came out with the Fanciful Fox book in the black background, which I've been waiting on, and I snapped that up. God, we're getting close to 2 hours. I'm going to have to stop and then finish this off screen, and then, because this is a really long video. I'm sorry, guys. It's one of those things where it's like, if I'm doing the videos, I'm just going to stubbornly go through them. Anyway, so I am going to do a Happy Mail video either tomorrow or Monday. Tuesday, I'm hoping to do a tag video. I know I've been tagged in that I still haven't done. By the way, if you have tagged me in something, please let me know in the comments below, because I have also not been doing very good with keeping up with videos this month. I am working to fix that now, but at the time I just hadn't done it. So but I've got one I know for sure that I'm going to try to do on Tuesday. Wednesday or Thursday will be the completed pages video, and then I'll probably do a haul video maybe. So if I do complete pages Wednesday, I might do a haul video like Friday. And then I don't know. I don't know if I'll do another color and chat. I don't know if I'll do a live stream. We're just gonna have to see how this week goes, because I don't know yet. But anyway, I am gonna try to start posting again. If I am a little quieter though, y'all know why. I mean, I'm still working on it. So, but just thank you to everyone for your support. Like I said, this time it is hit in terms of just feeling lonely, and it always feels a bit lonely when this happens because what am I trying to say? I lost my train of thought. Just because, like I said, I mean, like, my parents are very supportive and they understand that it's tough on me and stuff, but it's like they don't 100% get it. And a lot of people in my life don't 100% get it. So it's been super helpful to, I guess, have people in the coloring community who get it, and it just has made me feel less alone, and it just, like I said, it means the world to me. So thank you, and thank you to my buds who have sent me happy mail and who have messaged me as well. I feel like a crummy friend because I know so many people are going through so much right now, and I feel like a really crummy friend because I can't really be there for people right now as much as I want to be, but I'm hoping that'll change. I hope this next week will be a little better. But, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish this up. Then I'm going to finish this offline real quick. Then we're going to come back and take a look at it in comparison to the other mandalas. And then we're going to just wrap things up, I guess. Again, thank you for sticking around. If you've been around for the whole video, like I said, this one's a bit of a doozy, but some people do like the longer videos, and I figure since y'all haven't heard from me in a while, it was one of those things where if I'm going to record a video today, then we're just going to get it all out. I'm not going to split this up into multiple videos. Y'all can always come back and pick up where you left off if you want. So, but and again, I'm sorry. I know it's not a super cheery, fun, happy kind of video, but it needed to be done and it needed to be talked about. So thank you if you've been sticking around. I will, like I said, I'm going to work on this off camera, and then we will be right back. Okay, so we are finished with our mandala here, and it looks pretty good. I am really pleased with it. But as I noted, let's take a good close look at it. Notice that iridescence look. As you angle the page, you can see like some of the gold and the orange and the blues and the greens and things like that. So you see that one, right? This is the Pentel Sparkle Pop and the Pentel Crazy Pop. Then we have the Pentel Dual Hybrid Metallic. And then we have the Dyvicl metallic gel pens. They all look, in my opinion, very similar. There are some differences, I feel like, a little bit here and there, just in the types of colors. Like, I feel like this is more of a true pink. This one's more of a purpley, oh, well, no, there you go. I was looking at the wrong pink. The orange here is a little more golden. Like, there's a little bit of variation, but really and truly, these three, I mean, basically you have the Dyvicl metallic gel pens, which give you the most gel pens and colors for the lowest price. And if you want to duplicate that in the Pentel, your best bet would be to get the Sparkle Pop and Crazy Pop gel pens. You're going to pay more, but at this point I don't know how much more ink they have, because like I said, the barrel on the Dyvicls is opaque and I can't 100% say, you know, how much ink is in those. I'll tell y'all right now, out of all these, the dual metallic hybrid would be the last set of pens that I would get. They do, they color beautifully, but I mean, the colors are exactly the same as the Sparkle Pop. If you just look at these two alone, they're exactly the same pens, except these you get less ink and they're more expensive. And the only difference that I've noticed is that the ink flow is, it goes a lot faster. That's the only difference I've noticed. So if you just look at that alone, I don't understand why there are two different types of pens. But I'm telling y'all, you just get the Sparkle Pops. If you're gonna get a Pentel pen, because you see the colors, they're the same. If you do want to stick with Pentel, but you do want some other color options, definitely get the Crazy Pops with them. But ultimately, you'll still have to pay double the price for the Dyvicl gel pens. So, interesting note I found this month. I just thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting. I've colored more mandalas and gel pens this month than I probably had the entire time I've been coloring for like the past 3 years. So, anyway, thanks guys for sticking around. If you kind of listened to everything, like I said, I know I was kind of throwing multiple things in this video, but I'm feeling kind of lazy and I don't really want to do completely separate videos. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I will be back either Sunday, probably Monday, with the Happy Mail video, and then, well, the Happy Mail video will be next, either Sunday or Monday, and then I've got my Tag Tuesday, and then we'll do completed pages one of the days after that and go from there. Hope you guys are having a good weekend, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.